Hey guys, welcome again to another tutorial. Today we will be learning how to set up our counterattacks in Combat Fury. But prior to that, there is a fix that I want to share with you. I forgot to do it on the last video. If you go to movement, go to update rotation. We did add set actor rotation to face the enemy. We need just to break this and split distract. And what we only need the Z, because if the enemy is on a higher platform, your character will end up tilting completely. So let's get actor rotation. And we can split this as well. And now we can put the roll and the pitch to match our actor basically. So that's it. So we can compile, save, and done. Now for counterattacks, and if you go to weapon state, you have here counterattack data table. It does come with an example, but this is the data table I'm making for our enemies. And the row name here, I already set up some. You can assign names for each enemy attack, and this will allow you to play counterattack specific to that attack, if that makes sense. So for example, if the enemy is throwing an overhead with the left arm, we can play counterattack that is assigned to that. And same thing for jab left, jab right, kicks, anything, any attack, you can name it whatever you want and set the counterattack for that name. And then when you go to your enemy, under the montage that we want to counter, you need to call and notify Parry notify, and here you want to make sure that the can be paired is set to true. Now this can be paired, it works for counterattack as well. If you set it to false, meaning there is no interaction, but if it can be parried, then we need to either, is it a counterattack or is it a reaction, meaning it's just like a parry stagger animation that only the enemy will play. But now for us, we're gonna go for counterattack, and the counter name is, so this one is an overhead and it's with the right arm. So we can come here and duplicate this, and we can name this overhead right arm, and we just need to copy the name and go to the attack. Under counter name we can put overhead R, and remember your counter attack must be true. You cannot have them both true. It's either counter attack or reaction animation. They cannot be both. So that's it. That's all we need to set up our basically the link between the attack and the data table. So now we can go back to our data table and set our counter montage. I already have some here. If I go to player, counter attack, let's go, we'll find a counter attack that match the overhead, right? So I think it's this one here. So as you can see, there is the similar overhead initial attack that we have right here. It need to match, you need to link the animation, so find a matching. So if, for example, here you can see, even though this one is a little bit higher, it will still work with this one. As you can see, there is that attack. So what we'll do is we're gonna trim this right at the impact, which is here 0.27. so this will be our start point for the counter attack, because the way the parry system work, when you press the window time for counter attack or parry, it waits for the attack to land, and if it's successful, if that attack landed within that time, that window, it will play the counter attack. So meaning this is where it's supposed to land at this moment of impact. So our counterattack should also start at this moment, and the animation will blend quickly, so you don't see any jitters, you don't see any unwanted result. So we'll start at 0.27. Our blend time is very important. As I said, you blend quickly, so we're gonna do 0.05, and we're gonna call an action state notify, and here you can drag it all the way for the enemy. It's okay to make the enemy wait to not perform any action, even though, for example, here the animation is finished. You can say finished here, and this is all recovery. We still want to extend this to give upper hand to the player, so the enemy does not perform any other action during these frames. So we can now set this to hit reaction if you want. And I already have this to fix the I key, the foot I key. So now with the player, let's set this on our victim. And for the player, I think it's this one right here. So we need the same thing. We cannot start with different time. They must start both at the right time, the exact time. So we need to go to 0.27, and the blend time need to match as well, so there is no desync or anything like that. And for the action state, now here is different than the enemy, because we want to give the advantage to the player, so he's enabled to perform other action. So I'm gonna end it early, so right here at the, so basically the impact is here. This is the impact, and I wanna, after this frame, I want him to be able to attack if he wants during these frames. So we can say this attacking. So let's set this up on our player or attacker montage. The distance, it could be, this is a hit and miss, because these packs don't come initially with what's the distance for each animation. So I think 140 should do. If you want this counter to kill the enemy after it ended, you can check this, but I'm gonna show you how you can apply damage without this. Now if I go to the player character and go to combat graph, just want to show you the current setup. There is nothing changed here. There is a stamina. If it's greater than 10, we can block, and we can aim, and if there is no action happening, we can perform our parry window. There is a window time. You can change it. If you go to parry attack, you have the parry window right here. So it's one press. You don't need to hold it. If you press, it will wait for this duration, and then it will set the parry window to false. It will end it. Alright, so let's give it a try. Let's save first, and now let's try. So as you can see, I already did it there. There you go. I missed there. I missed. There you go. That's successful. So as you can see, there is no damage, so nothing happened to the enemy except he's playing the animation. And even if I'm facing the back, it will auto face quickly. Let's do this again. I missed. There you go. So now let's apply damage to the enemy. Go to our enemy, and let's go to the frame where he get the first punch, right there. And there is a notify called damage self. So here we can say we need 10 points, and copy this, and we have another punch right here, probably right there. We can adjust. We have to test and see. So now let's try. Yeah, that's better. And of course you need to add camera shake, sound effect. You can even use the gameplay camera notify to make it a little bit cinematic. But now I would like to share with you a cool modification to our counterattack similar to Sleeping Dogs. Go to your player character, and here where we trigger our parry window, we're gonna disconnect that, and we're just gonna copy this, and we're gonna go all the way down to where we trigger our light attack, and here we're gonna add a branch if. So what I want, if we are aiming, we will play an animation similar to Sleeping Dog. When you try to parry, he played an animation where he moved his hand, and if you time the parry with that animation when it started, you play the counterattack. But if you miss that window, you're still doing your arm, and that's basically where you get hit. You can't dodge, you can't block, and you just missed your chance. So let's do that too. Here we're gonna paste our parry window time. Let's go find if I have a montage that I can copy. Right here, play montage. And the montage I'm gonna play, it's called Provoke. I'll show you. So this is a montage that I'm gonna use. So basically you can see I'm doing a motion with my hand, come over here, attack me, but the window time, it should be like something up to here. If I miss my chance, or if I trigger this early, I am stuck during these frames. From here to here, I cannot do any dodging, any blocking, and I will basically get hit. So that's the risk and reward. If you time it from the start to here, for example, you will get the counter attack. If you miss it, this is where you're gonna be punished for fooling around, basically. So now let's go, and we need an action state. So we can just copy this right here and go all the way down, because we don't want to be spamming it. So if we're not doing any action, let's move it up, make space. So if we're not doing any action, then we can trigger our parry window. The time is 0.35. We're going to play the montage, and this montage do have this action state. So basically up to here. So once 0.35 is done, this is all it's going to be punishment if you miss. Let's see now what we need to do. We cannot block, so I'm gonna have to move this. We can remove all this, we can delete this, and move this all the way to here, and we're gonna say if nothing happened, if there is no action, then we can move to blocking. So when we play this, we want blocking to be off. So we can go ahead and increase the time to 1, so we can see some of that animation. So I had to edit this part and move the switch on enum to the end with the blocking. Otherwise you won't be able to turn off the aiming input back. So this should solve that. Now let's go to our damage self right here. This one, it does apply point damage. If you go to hit reaction, it will apply the damage, but there is this damage causer check. If you have the same tag, it will turn to nothing right here. Meaning if you're doing the damage to yourself and you have the tag, it will turn to false. So we need to just do git owner, and we want to make sure that this damage causer does not equal, and we have to make sure we connect these here. So we want to make sure that the damage causer does not equal owner, and does so just like this. We can go to our enemy here and we can print basically to see if that's been active. There you go, it's not interrupted, and we can do damage. Let's take him to the window. There you go. Yeah. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until then, thank you for watching.